It's your boy Mike here, and I'm back. Feeling pretty good. I'm here with my lovely wife, Jeanine Escobar. She's my co-host for the day on this one. And before we get started, subscribe and comment, please. And if you love the channel, refer me to all your friends and family, and let's grow this thing. I'm here to raise awareness. Yeah. My channel is Esco Elite Fitness, and it's about mindset, health, mental health, awareness, you name it. Esco Elite Mind Podcast. But you guys, I want to talk to you about what I've experienced recently, which was a stroke.
So the last that we left everybody on Esco Elite Mindset was that you had the stroke and that you didn't have any damage and everything was good and dandy. But here on this channel, they don't know that we actually, the video that you saw 5 days later or 6 days, 5 days after that video, we thought you were having another stroke. So why don't you get into that?
Yeah. So after that first episode, I actually didn't go to the hospital. Let's see, 5 days later on a Friday after date night. So we had a date night, went out to eat after our live episode that we filmed, had dinner, everything went well, had date night. About 12:30.
Wait a minute, let me just clarify something for the timeline. We filmed the episode before this one that you're watching right now. The I had a stroke episode was filmed the day that you're talking about, the day that we called the ambulance.
Oh, so it was filmed on that Friday. Mm-hmm. See, I don't. My mind's a little off, you guys. So it was filmed on a Friday. So let me fast forward to Friday night, deep into the night, about 12:30. I get up to use the restroom. I had to go piss real quick, use the bathroom. My stomach was like, I gotta go to the restroom. I got up, I walked, and my balance was off. While I'm using the restroom, I was struggling maintaining my balance. Then as I'm walking back to my bed, I go, here it comes again. I felt it. I felt that same wave that it hit me the first time. Like everything started spinning, losing my balance. So I was on her side of the bed. Then I was thinking like, all right, if this goes away, then I'm okay. But if this seems like it's gonna get worse, I gotta wake her up. This time I didn't fight the feeling. I woke her up. Told her I think I'm having an episode.
That was really freaking scary because I didn't hear anything because obviously I was dead asleep. But you grabbed my arm too, and I felt that you were right there on my bedside.
Yeah,
and that's what I was like, "What's going on?" You're like, "It's happening again."
Yeah, I felt the same thing. Like my world was getting shook. My legs got rubbery, and I started profusely sweating again. And I'm like, "Oh, here it comes!" And I had to crawl to my side of the bed. Everything was spinning again, real bad. And I think that's when you decided to call 911.
Oh, I called 911 immediately. When he was sitting at my bedside and I opened my eyes and he said that, I didn't ask any questions. I just called 911 because I thought he was having another stroke. I thought this one was going to be the big one. That was, in my head, I just kept thinking, this is going to be the big one. This is it. And so I was petrified. And I remember you crawled to the bed. You crawled onto your side of the bed.
I crawled, yeah. I couldn't walk.
That broke my freaking heart when I saw that. And because I was trying to get up my son and kind of like talk to 911, but I saw you do that.
Yeah.
And then when the paramedics came, they gave you like the stroke eval or whatever, and you were passing,
yes.
But you looked pale. You looked white as a ghost. I was like worried that the stroke was in progress at this point. I had no reason to think it wasn't.
And that was exactly the same thing that happened to me the first time because that happened to me at my academy, the stroke. And my buddy who was working out next to me said, same thing, you look pale as a ghost. Same thing you said to me. Like, it felt exactly the same, the symptoms.
So then they brought the gurney in, and so they got you up because you said, like, they said, can you stand? And so you stood. But when you went to stand, you fell to the side into the TV and the TV stand. And so in my head, I thought, okay, he's having a stroke, and now he lost all feeling. I was like playing a million things in my head. He lost his feeling on his left side. Oh my God! And then they strap you onto the gurney, and while they're wheeling you out, you start vomiting.
On the way out, I started feeling sick, and I go, hey, do you have a garbage bag or some kind of bag? Because I feel myself, I'm gonna throw up. Same exact thing that happened to me the first time.
I know.
And sure enough, they had it was a kind of cool little vomit bag they had. And
the tube.
And the tube. And actually, I threw up all my dinner and the whole daily food came out of me that day. And that's when you thought, oh, shit, he's having another stroke.
Because the week before, those same things happened, and it was a stroke. So here I was. I literally thought when they put you into the ambulance that it could be the last time I saw you alive.
I can't believe you thought that.
I did.
Come on, you got to know my body will fight for me.
I did. I thought it.
I didn't think that for a second. I just knew here's another one. But at least this time I'm in good hands, medical aids hands. The first time I wasn't.
No, I know.
This time I am. So
I did. I was freaking out. And so I get to the hospital. I follow the ambulance, and they say you cannot see him. You can't, no updates or anything they said, come back in an hour. Can you imagine? It's 2:00 in the morning. I literally think that he had a stroke in the ambulance. I'm thinking that the worst. And so I called my cousin to come. She lives nearby to kind of like be there for me because I felt like I was going to lose my shit, really. And I'm so grateful that she did that because I really didn't know. And then I went back there and it was super quiet. All you could hear is like beeping.
The machine?
Beep. The lights were off.
I was sleeping, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I made him turn the lights off. So I want the lights off. My head hurts. So spent day and a half in the hospital, would you say? Mm-hmm. From early Saturday morning. I think I got there around a little bit after 1 a.m. Didn't leave there till Sunday night. So after that, I had some residual effects, meaning headaches, vertigo real bad, dizzy spells. What else? Balance.
But you're not clarifying. We gotta loop people in to tell them the clear story. So we went, and what we determined in the course of those 2 days was because he continued to have spells. So,
yes,
but the spells were less intense. And they repeated all of his tests, the MRIs, the CT scan with contrast. They tested his heart. They tested everything.
We did an EKG, which was cool.
So what they determined was that they were not additional strokes, but it was the residual effects from the stroke. From where he had the stroke, it was the cerebellar part of the brain, that the vestibular system and balance and everything. So his damage that he's left trying to rehabilitate is vertigo-like symptoms. And it's already gotten so much better. So once we felt confident that they were no longer strokes and we knew this was like the residuals, then it's like now we have to wait it out and see how long it takes to get better, but you're going to get some rehab. And
yeah, I'll go back to went through all that. Eventually made it home. Had a lot of vertigo issues. But since then, they've subsided. They've gotten better. Have tiny little episodes now. And they're not as long, shall I say. The first ones that hit me, I was exhausted afterwards. Like I wanted to take a nap, and I did a few times after. Now they're very few and far in between. I don't have too many. And now, this Thursday coming up, I got to go to rehabilitation therapy for my vestibular. Mm-hmm. Basically, if I go to that, it teaches your brain to realign itself. That's what I feel like. I feel like my brain's trying to realign itself when I have them. Mm-hmm. Like it's readjusting, like it's fighting left and right. And finally it calms down and I readjust myself. And it messes with my vision a little bit. And it realigns.
Yeah, basically it's kind of like there's a tiny part of your brain that's damaged. It was a small area.
Yes.
And the other parts of your brain will learn to do what that tiny little part of your brain did. So it takes time because it's learning a new skill. It's called neuroplasticity when the brain does that.
Yeah.
So it takes time. So it's like the other parts of the brain, that's not their specialty, but they're learning and they're getting better at it every day. And rehab will just speed that up.
Yeah. So it's a trip, man. So it's a trip going through this. And I want to make people aware because there's a lot of people going through this. I've gone through this, or hopefully don't ever have to go through this. Or if they do go through this, they see the signs and don't hesitate to call 911. That's the main thing. Don't play. There's a 6-hour window we have to stop that stroke from getting any worse. I played with fire. I didn't go to the hospital right away. That was a big mistake on my part. I'm not even lucky to be sitting here in front of this camera talking to you guys. I know I've said it before, but I already lost a cousin at 4 years old to a stroke. Took her in a Swift. She didn't have a fighting chance. She made it to the hospital and everything. Still didn't make it.
I would like to say that the benefits of that, us thinking those additional episodes were strokes, was that we were in the hospital and they did a lot of other testing to rule out other things. They were also quite intrigued because of your physique, your health, and your health, the picture of health, even in all of your blood work. Excellent cholesterol levels. They tested the vessels and the blood flow, and they did all of that, and it's a mystery to them. So they really went above and beyond this second time. So I'm glad that happened, even though it was very scary. But some of the important things that came up as a result of that, and just also questions that we've received about it, is what could have caused it, right? They don't even know for sure, although the most obvious is that you've had high blood pressure probably for a long time, mostly unmedicated for many, many years.
Yes.
Only recently you medicated, but you still didn't have it under control. That's another message I think it's important to get out here, especially if you have a men following. If you guys are taking meds for your BP, that's just not enough. If you have diagnosed high blood pressure, you have to monitor your blood pressure because you could have a hypertensive event. Blood pressure is not static. It doesn't just, it's this and that's it. It's dynamic. It changes.
Yes, it does.
So it's important for you to monitor that, number one. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is that many people, Mike is taking hormone replacement therapy, TRT specifically.
Yes.
And a lot of people, there is some associated increased risk of clotting with hormone replacement therapy. It's mostly within the statistics show it's when you first start. So it's like that first 6 weeks or so, which you're in your 4th month.
Yes.
But also there's a correlation. There's a gene that if you have that particular gene, it's called the factor V laden gene, that it increases your risk even higher of having some sort of a heart attack or stroke if in combination with taking hormone replacement therapy. I am not a doctor. I'm not an expert on this, so I don't do your own research. But I had also discovered that when we were going through all of this, and his doctor did test him for that gene. He's negative. So if you're positive for that gene, it doesn't rule out hormone replacement therapy, but like with anything, it's just like weighing out the risks.
Yeah.
Because if you had the gene and you have high blood pressure and this and that, it's like, maybe it's not really worth it at that point. But for you, you did decrease your dosage of testosterone specifically.
Yes. And we spoke with the doctor about it and was honest. And the doctor said, as long as you're careful, not overdoing it, and you're on a
with
safe dosage.
Your levels, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm on a safe dosage. I'm not trying to be a credible Hulk or be a bodybuilder. It's really, my reasoning mainly was for my libido purposes. That's why I wanted to do HRT. I wanted to feel good inside. I have a beautiful wife, and that's important to be affectionate with her. Have our alone time, as I always say. and as a man, you want to feel good. You want to feel that extra energy, that extra oomph, not always dragging. I took my body as far as I could naturally. I got down to 165 pounds, shredded, ripped, but I still wasn't feeling right inside. And when I hopped on the HRT, it made me feel different. Felt good. That was my main reasoning. I just want to feel good, feel at my best, feel optimized, at this age. And again, it's not my fault. My hormones went down. It's just father time. Sometimes gets the better of us, you guys.
Wrap it up.
Anyways, hope this story reaches some of you guys. Here to raise awareness. And I'll see you on the next one, you guys. Thank you for watching.